The girl just wanted to visit her mother, but she never expected it would plunge her into a life-or-death adventure. Darby is on her way to the hospital when a snowstorm hits. She has no choice but to take shelter at a visitor center. She enters the building and sizes up the people inside. There's a middle-aged couple and two young men. Darby tries to use her phone, only to find there's no signal at this moment. The middle-aged man comes in and tells Darby there's a weak signal near a tree outside. Darby runs out to get the signal. As she approaches a van, she hears faint noises coming from inside. To her shock, she sees a little girl tied up in it. Darby tries to rescue the girl, but finds the van door won't open. She calms down and figures the kidnapper must be one of the people in the room. First, she takes a picture of the license plate, which shows it's from Nevada. Then she notices a long-haired man in the room staring at her. Panicking, she quickly picks up her phone and pretends to be looking for a signal. Seeing there's still no signal, she has to go back inside. The middle-aged couple invites Darby and the other two men to play poker. She learns that the long-haired man is named Evan, and the other man is David. Through the poker game, Darby finds out Evan is going to Nevada, and he acts extremely nervous and irritable, which makes Darby even more certain he's the kidnapper. Darby goes to the bathroom to call the police, but her phone still has no signal. She types a distress message, knowing it definitely won't go through. She grabs some tools, sneaks out through the bathroom's back door, and tries to pry open the van door to save the little girl. Just then, Evan comes in. Darby quickly hides in the trunk under a blanket. After venting his anger over being humiliated, Evan gets out of the van to get the girl some snacks. Before Darby can rescue the girl, she sees Evan coming back, so she has to get out of the van. Darby tells David what's going on, and they plan to save the little girl. David picks up the rivet gun and tells Darby to go save the little girl first, while he'll keep Evan under control. When Darby rips the tape off the little girl's mouth, she hears something shocking. The girl says there's more than one kidnapper. Darby looks out of the window and discovers that David and Evan are in cahoots. When they check the van, they find Darby has already slipped away. David immediately goes to the bathroom to block her. He threatens Darby that if she tells anyone, he'll kill everyone there. Just then, the little girl in the van uses the knife Darby left to cut the ropes, gets out of the van, and appears at the door. Evan follows her. Darby also goes to the bathroom, and David follows her in. As soon as he enters, Darby hits him with a hammer, but Darby is quickly overpowered by David. Just as she's about to be strangled to death, Evan comes back. Saying he can't find the little girl, they decide to use Darby to find the girl. Darby seizes the opportunity to grab the car keys that David dropped. They follow the footprints in the snow to find the girl. Forcing Darby to call out to her, Darby shines a flashlight in their eyes when they're not looking. In the chaos, Darby rolls down the hill, and David fires a shot. The gunshot attracts the couple in the house. The husband, John, goes out to check and finds the little girl frozen and unconscious on the ground. He brings her back into the house. Darby gets back to the house first and tells the couple what happened. David and Evan are afraid the man in the house has a gun, so they don't dare to approach. David threatens them, saying the little girl is sick and he has her medicine. John tells him they can exchange the medicine for the car keys. Only then does David realize the keys are missing. Furious, they pour gasoline outside the house. Just then, the little girl wakes up and recognizes John's wife. Turns out the woman was the girl's nanny. She hired David and Evan to kidnap the girl because she was humiliated by the girl. Just as David and Evan are about to light the fire, the woman, realizing she's been exposed, blurts out that John doesn't have a gun. She sprays Darby with pepper spray and then lets David and Evan in. When they can't get the keys out of Darby, David shoots John. The woman watches her husband fall to the ground. She tries to use the pepper spray but is also shot dead. Darby tries to pick up the pepper spray on the ground, but David pulls her away and nails her hand to the wall. David takes Evan to the bathroom to wash their eyes. Darby tries to pull out the nail, but it's too tight. Struggling only makes her bleed more. She sees a claw hammer nearby and asks the little girl to help. Just as she gets the hammer, they come back, so Darby hides it behind her. David demands the keys from Darby. At this moment, the phone gets a signal, and the distress message is successfully sent. David threatens Darby and gets the location of the keys. He leaves Evan behind and goes to find them. Darby senses that Evan has some kindness in him. She asks the little girl to turn off the lights to ease the pain. Darby takes some drugs she has on her, numbing herself for a while. While Evan is trying to stop the little girl, Darby manages to pull out the nail. When Evan turns on the light, Darby knocks him down with a hammer. Hearing the commotion, David rushes back. By then, Darby has grabbed the gun and subdued Evan. David points the rivet gun at Darby. The little girl, out of fear, rushes at David with the hammer. Unexpectedly, the rivet hits Evan in the head. The little girl and Darby run out while they can. David helps Evan out of the door. Evan slips on the blood on the ground. He's really dead. Darby just starts the car when an enraged David rushes over and shoots out the tire. The car crashes into a pole. Darby and the little girl pass out. David turns around and sets the house on fire. Just then, the police arrive. Darby wakes up. David pretends to be a victim and asks the police for help. Darby shoots David. The police, thinking Darby is the kidnapper, shoot her. David takes the opportunity to pick up the gun and kills the police. Just as David is about to kill Darby, she pulls out a screwdriver and stabs it into David's neck. David dies on the spot. And that's the end of the movie.